Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, and in breaking news, a 7.8, 7.5 and a 5.3 magnitude earthquake has struck off Turkey and Syria.
The 7.8 quake, which struck about 4:17 AM local time a couple of days ago, had a depth of 11 miles near the city of Gaziantep.
The second earthquake, which was the magnitude 7.5 quake, had a depth of roughly 6 miles.
And then in the early hours of today, the third earthquake, which is the magnitude 5.3 earthquake, struck the city of Besni, and that one also had a depth of roughly 6 miles.
Many aftershocks are still being felt across the Kahramanmaraş province. The number of dead and injured from both Turkey and Syria has increased rapidly throughout yesterday.
Thousands of buildings across both countries have collapsed, and several videos show the moment they fell as onlookers ran for cover. Many buildings that were as large as 12 stories high are now flattened, roads have been destroyed, and there are huge mountains of rubble as far as the eye can see.
The death toll currently stands at 7,200, and 380,000 other people are seeking refuge in Turkey alone.
We'll have more information as soon as it develops, so please stay tuned.
Welcome back to the breaking news special here on Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. We are receiving more updates in regards to the earthquake that has recently battered Turkey and Syria.
It is understood that at least 7,366 people have now been killed in Turkey and Syria after 3 powerful earthquakes struck on Monday morning and earlier today.
5,434 people are confirmed to have died in Turkey, while 1,120 people have been killed in rebel-held Syria in the last few moments. Meanwhile, at least 812 people have died in government areas.
Meanwhile, the Syrian foreign minister has urged European countries to send aid. Fazil Mekdad said sanctions placed on Syria by the UK and the United States are not an excuse to not send support.
Syrian officials have long argued that Western sanctions have harmed reconstruction efforts in areas where the country's 12-year civil war has subsided, but the US and European nations have said that sanctions aim to pressure the Syrian government into a political process that could end the conflict.
We have just received information that a British team of 77 search and rescue specialists are currently gathered in Gaziantep's airport with their sniffer dogs, ready to head out to coordinates sent by Turkish authorities and begin their rescue efforts.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak pledged the UK's steadfast support to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan during a phone call earlier this afternoon.
Mr. Erdogan thanked him for the UK solidarity after the aforementioned 77-strong British search and rescue team arrived in Turkey earlier today.
Mr. Sunak also brought up the deeply concerning humanitarian situation across the border in northwest Syria, where Turkey plays an important coordinating role.
However, freezing weather has made rescue efforts difficult in Turkey and Syria, with the head of Save the Children warning the cold will kill people.
Gaziantep, near the epicenter of the earthquake in Turkey, could hit lows of -5 degrees Celsius, with more rural areas, especially higher up, falling even lower.
We will have more updates on this tomorrow, but in the meanwhile, please subscribe, and thanks for watching part 2 of this breaking news special. Welcome to part 3 of the breaking news special. Emergency services, volunteers and members of the public in Turkey and Syria continue desperately searching through rubble for survivors after 3 powerful earthquakes hit the region a couple of days ago.
The death toll from the disaster has already soared above 11,000, although officials fear this could rise to around 20,000 after houses, apartment blocks and offices were completely flattened by the quakes and subsequent aftershocks.
Amid the horror, despair and grief, there are occasional moments of hope and joy, including a newborn baby girl rescued from under a collapsed building with her umbilical cord still attached.
But amid the freezing cold winter conditions, rescuers are warning that time to recover the remaining survivors is running out, with fear that hundreds of people could still be trapped under the debris.
Just to recap, the magnitude of the three earthquakes were magnitude 7.8, magnitude 7.5 and magnitude 5.3.
The depth of the 7.8 magnitude quake was roughly 11 miles, while the depth of the other two earthquakes, which are magnitude 7.5 and 5.3, were roughly around 6 miles.
Aftershocks are still continuing to rock both Turkey and Syria.
Thousands of people have been left homeless by the earthquakes and will struggle to access shelter, water and food. They require emergency aid, particularly in war-torn Syria, which is already in the grip of a humanitarian crisis due to more than a decade of war.
The British Red Cross has launched appeals for both Turkey and Syria. Those who are able to are being asked to donate via the Red Cross website.
Alternatively, you can donate by calling 0300 004 0339. That's 0300 004 0339.
Or you can download a postal form from a link which will be provided in the descriptions box below.
The Red Cross has also said in a statement the Turkish Red Crescent has launched a crisis response operation and mobilised teams in more than 10 regions across Turkey, while the Syrian Arab Red Crescent is delivering assistance and support to those in need in the regions of Hama, Aleppo and Latakia.
It continued on to say, together we're providing emergency first aid and evacuating people to safety. ActionAid has also launched a campaign calling for donations.
Oxfam is also calling for donations. It said in a statement, our teams in Turkey and Syria are working with partner organisations to access the types of immediate and longer-term support that are needed to help people in the aftermath of Monday's devastating earthquakes.
We also now understand that His Majesty King Charles has told President Recep Tayyip Erdogan that his thoughts and special prayers are with all those affected by the earthquake in Turkey.
In a message shared on Tuesday, he wrote, "My wife and I have been most shocked and profoundly saddened by the news of the devastating earthquakes in southeast Turkey."
The Turkish president also declared a state of emergency in areas ravaged by the region's worst earthquake in decades, as we've said, the death toll in the country and neighbouring Syria has crossed the 11,000 mark.
With efforts intensifying to rescue people trapped under rubble since the huge earthquakes, which hit the region 2 days ago, Erdogan triggered the emergency powers to deal with the humanitarian crisis.
Okay, we will update you more on this as soon as more news is available, but in the meanwhile, please subscribe, thanks for watching, and stay tuned.
Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. We will continue about the Turkey-Syria earthquake, and Turkey is working on opening 2 more border gates with Syria to enable flow of humanitarian aid to the neighbouring country.
Speaking to reporters, Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said damage on the Syria side of the road leading to a border gate solely open for humanitarian aid as part of United Nations Security Council authorization is causing difficulties in quake response.
However, he also added that there are some difficulties in terms of Turkey's and the international community's aid reaching to Syria. For this reason, efforts are being made to open 2 more border gates.
Syria's President Bashar al-Assad is seeking political advantage from the earthquake, pressing for foreign aid to be delivered through his territory as he aims to chip away at his international isolation, analysts say.
Amid an outpouring of sympathy for Syrians hit by the earthquake, Damascus has seized the moment to reiterate its long-standing demand for aid to be coordinated with its government shunned by the West since Syria's war began in 2011.
But Western powers have shown no sign that they are ready to meet that demand or re-engage with Assad, but his hand has been strengthened by difficulties facing cross-border aid flows into Syria's rebel-held northwest from Turkey.
The aid flows, which is critical to around 4 million people in the area, have been temporarily halted since the earthquake, although a UN official expressed hope that they could resume tomorrow.
Damascus has long said aid to the rebel enclave in the north should go via Syria, not across the Turkish border.
We have just received news that 3 Britons are missing following the earthquakes which struck Turkey and Syria. Making a statement in the Commons, James Cleverly, the Foreign Minister, said, "As of this morning, we know that 3 British nationals are missing."
He added that the Foreign Office's Crisis Response Hub is working to support at least 35 British nationals who have been directly affected by the earthquakes. From everyone here at Tom and Ben News United Kingdom and TV Media UK, we hope that everyone is okay.
Rescuers have been working in extremely cold temperatures searching for more survivors since the 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the region on Monday morning at approximately 4:17 a.m. local time.
Nearly 12,000 people have now died across both Turkey and Syria, with the World Health Organization saying facilities facilities could reach as high as 20,000 in the coming days.
On the issue of aid, Mr. Cleverly told MPs the Turkish government is requesting international assistance on the scale that matches the enormity of the situation that they are facing.
Okay, we will continue the coverage as it happens tomorrow, so please subscribe, thank you for watching, and please stay tuned.
Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. We still continue with the breaking news that Reuters has a devastating report shedding light on the tragedy that is unfolding in northwest Syria and southern Turkey.
Rescuers working by torchlight pulled 3-year-old Tariq Haider from the rubble some 42 hours after a devastating earthquake destroyed his family home in the Syrian town of Jandaris.
Orphaned by the earthquake that hit Syria and Turkey in the dead of night on Monday, roughly 4:17 a.m. local time, Haider was brought to a hospital where doctors were forced to amputate his left leg. They are currently trying to save his right.
The bodies of his mother and a third sibling were recovered from the rubble later, people in the area said. His removal from the wreckage was the latest in a series of eye-catching rescues caught on camera in the areas in Syria and Turkey hit by the earthquake.
Jandaris was severely damaged by the quake, which has killed at least 1,930 people in rebel-held northwestern Syria, according to rescue workers. The Syrian government says the toll in its part of the fractured country is 1,347.
The Syrian Civil Defense, the rescue service in the northwest, said today many families remain under the rubble.
This is very shocking. Our hearts go out to the families and victims of this disaster from everyone here in the Tom and Ben News United Kingdom team and TV Media UK.
So now we believe that Germany will increase humanitarian assistance in Syria by 26 million euros, according to a statement issued by the country's embassy in Beirut.
We also believe that the UN's aid chief Martin Griffiths will visit Gaziantep in Turkey and Aleppo and Damascus in Syria this weekend to assess needs and how the UN can best step up support.
The combined death toll in Turkey and Syria from Monday's devastating earthquake is closening up to the 20,000 mark.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced that 16,546 people had died after records earlier in the afternoon stood at 16,170.
State media in Syria said the death toll in government-held areas had risen to 1,347, up from 1,262, and experts have said the toll of both dead and injured is expected to continue to rise sharply in the coming days.
Before we go, We have just received some more news that Ukraine has sent 88 people to Turkey to help with the disaster, including specialists in search and rescue operations, doctors, dog handlers, and firefighters.
A spokesman for the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, Oleksandr Horunchi, said there is a war in our country, but we understand that we have to help, and this aid is mutual. There is no other way to do it.
There are also reports that 650 aftershocks have been recorded since the 7.8 and 7.6 magnitude earthquakes, making rescue efforts even more difficult and dangerous as emergency teams comb through severely weakened buildings.
More news is coming in now, and France has announced a pledge of 12 million euros in emergency post-earthquake aid to Syrians, with the aid to be dispersed through non-governmental organisations and the UN in all regions affected.
And at least 28,044 people have been evacuated from the Kahramanmaraş, one of the southern Turkish provinces hardest hit by Monday's earthquake.
Okay, if we get more information regarding this, then we shall report more on Monday's news bulletin. But for now, please subscribe, thanks for watching, and see you on Monday.